SOC team members and analysts actually use the RSA Netwitness platform? We've just taken some time to review the RSA Netwitness platform and the architecture behind it. What sets Netwitness apart from the competition? A couple of key areas. First, it was built to be focused on how do SOC team members and analysts actually use the platform to find, investigate, and remediate threats. Second, the customer's current and future needs, and how can a solution grow and help their security posture. Third, how can customers get maximum value out of their current infrastructure? To do this, we focus on a couple of different areas. One, finding the threats that matter most. Alleviating alert fatigue. When we have SIEM platforms out there, typically they get 5,000 to 10,000 alerts a day, for example. Third, speed of detection. Fourth, skills shortage and the efficiency of the SOC. We all know that there's a shortage of skilled workers out there and threat hunters. Next, a modular, flexible approach. We talked earlier in the architecture, we can do this just for logs, we can do just packets, just endpoint, or just UEBA. So let's start with the ability to find threats that matter most. We talk about capture and collection from an endpoint, packets, network, logs, NetFlow. The visibility into all of these different dimensions is second to none. Bringing them all into a single platform, a single UI. One of the areas where we excel greatly is the ability to bring in data we don't understand. So what do I mean by that? Here's a quick example. I was working with a customer who had a custom application on their AS400s. They wanted to bring that data in so that they can analyze it and correlate it. What we were able to do was capture that information, build custom parsers so that the log decoders could understand and interpret the data that was being retrieved. A second example, we were working with a network customer, and what they wanted to do, it was a banking customer, and they had ATM machines, and what they wanted to do is they wanted to tap the traffic in between the ATM machine and their corporate mainframes and see if there's any transfer of money that was greater than a certain dollar amount. We were able to collect that data, create custom parsers, and now achieve that goal that the customer had. In addition to capturing, remember, we talked about real-time enrichments, both for threat intel and business context. Incidents can then be prioritized based upon who they are. For example, if I get an alert notification that has to do with my CEO or my janitorial staff, I will probably deal with the CEO level alerts first and then the janitorial staff afterwards. All of this data that we capture is then brought up and correlated and collated in the broker, which provides you with a single view into the entire infrastructure. We also talked about the 3 or 4 different dimensions of data coming in. Each one in their own right is important. However, each one in their own right has limitations as to what you can see. If you're just collecting logs, you may not see malware running on the endpoint. If you're just collecting packets, you may not see user accounts being created or deleted on Windows. So we really need to bring all of these together and then tying them together using both machine learning, UEBA, correlation rules, finding both known and unknown threats. Once those threats are discovered, we then have the information for the incidents flowing over to Orchestrator, which automatically gathers all related artifacts and starts the investigation platform for you. And this brings me to finding, discovering the threats that matter most. When we talk about alert fatigue, again, SIEM platforms today, it's not uncommon to receive 5, 10, 15,000 alerts a day. How do you triage that? How do you even approach that or look at it? We really need to bring that down, alleviate the false positives, and provide a much higher fidelity of alerting. And again, we tie this all into a single platform. We bring in endpoint, packet, network information, log information, UEBA for both unknown and known threats. We bring this all together. We have complete visibility from all of these data points within a single UI. There is no need to go talk to my network folks, talk to my log folks, talk to my EDR folks. Everything is brought together into a single platform, into a single UI for analysis. And in this architecture, one of the big advantages that RSA has is tying UEBA in with the endpoint. Being able to look at processes that are running on the host and run them through a machine learning rule-less based system. That is something nobody else in this market has. And all of this, all of the alerting that we have, the unknown and known threats, bring the fidelity of alerts much higher and reduce the number of false positives you have to help alleviate the alert fatigue that customers face today. Let's talk about the speed of detection. We have high-speed network decoders. We have high-speed log decoders that can capture at very high rates to bring in all this information. And again, we parse and we enrich at time of collection. We talked about those capture time correlation rules. Those all happen at time of collection. This is not a post-process that needs to be run later, which means as that data is captured, it is then brought to the analyst's attention, which provides you with a couple of key benefits. Rapidly detecting incidents or events as they're happening, which then allows you to triage an incident much faster because it's been captured and correlated and brought over to Orchestrator. And to reiterate, by having everything in a single platform together, there's no need to go talk to these people or copy paste from one system to another. In addition to all the triaging that we've talked about, all the incident discovery, this is great when you have a small infrastructure. We have one decoder for packets, one decoder for logs. What do we do when we expand the solution, as some of my customers have done, and we have hundreds of these decoders out there? The way that the Netwitness platform was built, the amount of decoders does not change how slow or how fast I can detect. I do not slow down as I add more decoders to the stack because everything's being done at the decoder level. It will not matter whether I have 1, 5, or hundreds of decoders. The platform is built to be scalable and built to be scalable in speed. When we talk about the skill shortage, rapid detection, being able to have the system find and potentially triage events means that you can spend less time investigating an incident. If I can spend less time, I may not need as many people, which is good because there's a shortage of people, of skilled people out there. I can automate as much as possible to overcome the skills shortage that I have today. Now, the Netwitness platform was developed side by side with analysts. RSA has spent hundreds of hours reviewing and testing the system to make sure it works the way that an analyst does. Nothing's worse than buying a system and find it doesn't work at all the way I do and I need to relearn everything and so forth. So we built Netwitness, we designed Netwitness hand in hand with analysts. In addition to that, we talked that the head unit allows for centralized administration of the entire platform. Well, my analysts aren't going to be doing that. I have separate roles within the system. I have analyst roles that can perform certain functions. I have admin roles that can perform other functions. Role-based access is built throughout the entire platform. Going back to Orchestrator for a moment, Orchestrator automates workflows to make the analyst more productive. It can help alleviate some of the work that an analyst has to do. We talked about earlier when we were doing the architecture that when an incident comes through, typically the first thing that an analyst does is they have to review what they saw. They then have to go speak to somebody in this department, somebody in that department, or another one, and gather all this information together to make a decision on what to do next. If I can automate that all within Orchestrator, by the time the analyst gets the incident, that work has already been done. So it helps speed up the time to resolution of an incident as well. One thing to remember about the UEBA system as well, it provides the deepest, broadest visibility into unknown alerts or unknown threats. Not only does it take log data, it can take endpoint data as well. It is a no-touch system that has no defined rules, no defined signatures, and no policies. Everything on UEBA is automated through automated learning and a ruleless system. All of this, if we wrap all of this together, it provides to rapidly triage incidents through a single UI. There is no need to pivot, copy-paste, or manually search between different systems. It boosts the detection and response capabilities for all analysts. In summary, why the RSA Netwitness platform? First, finding the threats that matter most. Unmatched visibility. Endpoint, network, log, NetFlow. It covers all the dimensions of traffic in a network. Alleviating alert fatigue. Higher fidelity alerting. Lower number of false positives. The speed of detection. It doesn't matter whether we have a single deployment like this or a scaled out global deployment. Skill shortage and efficiency of the SOC. Using Netwitness Orchestrator to do all the pre-work for you and potentially take actions. It's a modular, flexible approach. I don't need to purchase all of this in one shot. I could start with the log infrastructure. I may start with the packet infrastructure, which either one I started, I could then add the other one or add endpoint. Very flexible in how I grow with the solution. It also facilitates all aspects of threat detection and response to help mitigate cyber risk. We've just taken a look at what sets the RSA Netwitness platform apart from the rest of the competitors. Thank you for watching.